You've got wasps. Maybe it's a nest up under the eave you spotted last week, or yellow jackets that started dive bombing the back steps, or one of those paper nests growing off the porch railing like a gray paper lantern. However they showed up, they're there. And now you're standing in the hardware store staring at a can of spray that costs $8 and kills the ones it hits directly. And then you wait for more to come back because you never touch the nest, never touch the queen, never touch the colony at all. That's the part they don't put on the label. The can kills the wasps you see. The ones you don't see, the ones back in the nest, doing the work, feeding the queen, raising the next batch, they're fine. You got rid of the foragers. The colony will replace them. You'll be back buying another can in a week or two, maybe another after that. And if the nest is somewhere you can't easily reach, or you call an exterminator, you're looking at a couple $100 minimum, closer to $400 on average, for a wasp nest. I'm going to show you two things today. The first one takes about 5 minutes to set up, and it does something those spray cans cannot do. It kills the whole colony, the queen included. Costs about $2 in supplies, and you probably have the container already. The second is for when you've got a reachable nest and you want it gone tonight, dish soap and water. And I'll explain why that actually works instead of just spraying you with a promise. Let's start with the bait. And before I tell you what it is, let me explain why the approach is different from every other thing people try. Every wasp in a colony is a worker. That's how they're built. One queen who lays the eggs, and hundreds or even thousands of workers who forage for food, feed the larvae back in the nest, and keep the whole thing running. The queen doesn't leave. She stays in the nest and gets fed. So if you only kill the foragers, you see the ones flying around your face when you're trying to eat outside, you haven't touched the engine of the whole operation. You've trimmed a few branches off a tree that's still rooted. What you need is bait the workers carry home. Something they drink, take traces of back to the nest on their bodies and in their stomachs, and share with the rest of the colony. Something slow enough that they don't die at the station, they die back home, and they pass it along before they do. That thing is boric acid mixed with apple juice. Boric acid is a white powder. It's been used for pest control for over a century. You can find it at the hardware store or the pharmacy section of a grocery store, usually in a small bottle, usually under $3. It's the same stuff that's in roach bait. The reason roach bait works is the exact same principle. The roach eats it, goes back to the nest, dies there, the others eat it. Same idea here, just different bug. What it does inside an insect is wreck the gut. It messes with their ability to process food and absorb water. It's not instant, and that's the whole point. Instant means they die before they get home. Slow means they make it back, they feed it to the larvae, they share it with the queen. The whole colony gets dosed from the inside. Now, why apple juice? Wasps are strongly attracted to sweet smells, especially fruity ones. That's why they swarm around your soda can in August. Why they dive into anything sugary you leave outside. Apple juice hits that note perfectly. It draws them in. And unlike plain sugar water, the slight tartness seems to appeal to them a little more readily, especially in late summer when they're at their most aggressive about finding food. By the way, if you want all these kinds of methods written down in one place, I've put them in a book. Every trick I use to run this house for less, the whole collection. It's on my website. The link is right below the video. Go look. I won't mention it again. Here's what to do. Take a small container. An old soup can works perfectly. A plastic cup, a clean tuna can, anything about that size. Mix 1 cup of apple juice with about 2 teaspoons of boric acid. Stir it well. The powder mostly dissolves, but may look slightly cloudy. That's fine. Pour just enough into your container to cover the bottom by about ½ an inch. You don't want them to drown in it. You want them to drink it, walk out, and fly home. Here's the thing most people miss, and it's the thing that makes this work or not work. Put a stick in there, a pencil, a twig, a chopstick, a straw, something they can grip when they climb in and out. If they fall in and can't get out, you've just made a trap. That's not what you want. You want a watering hole they visit, drink from, and leave. The worker goes home carrying boric acid in her gut, and she feeds the others through what they call trophallaxis. The workers share food mouth to mouth with the larvae and with each other. The boric acid moves through the whole nest that way. Set your can in an area where you've seen wasp activity, under the eave, near the nest entrance if you know where it is, on the corner of the deck where they've been landing. Don't put it right next to flowers where honeybees are working. Honeybees don't tend to forage from fruity-smelling liquid bait, the same way wasps do. They want nectar and pollen from flowers. But keep it away from any bee activity to be safe. If you want an extra margin of safety, add a small splash of apple cider vinegar to the mix. Wasps are still drawn to it. Honeybees tend to avoid the vinegar smell. It's a little extra insurance, then leave it. Don't disturb the can. Don't shoo the wasps away when they come to drink. Let them do their job. They're doing you a favor. You'll start to see fewer and fewer wasps around the area over the next week to 2 weeks. That's how long the process takes because it's supposed to be slow. If it worked too fast, the workers would die out in the field and never bring anything home. The slowness is the mechanism. Be patient with it. Change out the bait every few days, especially if it's hot outside. The juice ferments and they'll stop coming. Fresh bait keeps drawing them in. A full colony, yellow jackets, paper wasps, whatever's nesting in your yard, can run anywhere from a few dozen to several thousand workers depending on the species and how late in the summer it is. You're not killing them one by one at the station. You're getting the poison into the nest and letting the colony's own behavior do the work. Now, the second method. This is for a nest you can actually get to. Under the eave at shoulder height, a small paper nest on a fence post, one attached to the porch ceiling you can reach with a hose. Not a nest in a wall, not underground, not somewhere that requires a ladder. If the nest is in any of those places, this isn't your tool and you know it. Dish, soap, and water. Here's why it works. Because people think the soap is the weapon, and it's not really, not exactly. Wasps breathe through tiny openings along their bodies, not through their mouth, not through a nose, through holes in their sides. A soapy solution coats those openings and blocks them. The wasp can't breathe. It goes down fast, within seconds, without you ever having to get close enough to make it angry. Here's the other thing the soap does. Plain water beads off a wasp's body. They're slightly waxy, and water doesn't soak in. The soap breaks that down. It gets the water through the surface, in and around the body, and they can't escape it the way they could plain water. Mix 2 or 3 tablespoons of dish soap into a spray bottle or a hose end sprayer filled with water. You don't need anything fancy. Give it a gentle shake so it mixes without going foamy. A squeeze bottle with a narrow opening works even better for pouring right into a nest entrance. You don't have to spray at all. Do this at dusk or after dark. That's important, and I'll tell you why. During the day, most of the workers are out foraging. If you hit the nest at noon, half the colony is still in the field, and you'll have angry stragglers coming home to a ruined nest. At dusk, they've mostly returned. The temperature's dropped a little. They're slower. You hit the nest when almost everyone's home, and you do it all at once. Point the spray at the entrance, or pour the soapy water directly into it if you can reach. Don't tap the nest or brush it first. You don't want them alarmed before the soap hits. Be ready to step back quickly and do so calmly. No swinging, no running if you can help it. Moving slowly and deliberately after you spray is safer than bolting, which draws attention. Wait until the next morning before you touch the nest. Check for any activity. If a few stragglers are still circling, give it another treatment that evening and check again. When there's no more activity, knock the nest down and get rid of it. Because some wasps will come back and attempt to use old nest material, you want it gone. One more thing about both of these methods and honeybees, because I get asked about this. Honeybees are not your enemy. They're pollinators and they matter. The dish soap method used on an active wasp nest isn't going to hurt a honeybee that isn't there. It's a targeted application. The boric acid bait is different in that it's sitting out in the open, but honeybees are not naturally drawn to fermented fruit juice the way wasps are. They want fresh nectar from flowers. If you keep your bait station away from flowering plants and add that splash of apple cider vinegar, you're not likely to pull in honeybees at all. Use common sense. Don't put the bait right next to a hive or a patch of clover. Put it near where you've seen wasps, not where you've seen bees. That separation is the whole thing. Now here's the part worth thinking about for a minute. Those aerosol cans at the hardware store are $5 to $8 a can. They shoot a stream that hits the wasps you can see and kills them on contact. They're good for one thing, stopping a wasp that's right in front of you right now. And they sell a lot of them, because after you spray and the colony rebuilds, you'll be back. The instruction on those cans doesn't say, wait 2 weeks and you won't have wasps anymore. That's not what they're promising. They're promising to kill what the spray touches. An exterminator? You're looking at $300 to $400 on average for a straightforward nest, and more if it's in a wall or somewhere hard to reach. The boric acid and apple juice runs you about $2. The dish soap you already own. Those two things together handle the overwhelming majority of residential wasp problems: the nests under eaves, the yellow jackets in the corner of the yard, the paper nest on the fence. Neither one requires gear you don't own. Neither one asks you to get close to an angry nest blind. And the bait method does something no spray can. It reaches every member of the colony, including the queen, without you ever seeing where the nest actually is. They'd prefer you didn't know that. So here's what I'd have you do this week. If you've got an active problem, look where the wasps are coming and going from. If it's a nest you can reach, pick up some dish soap and a spray bottle and wait for dusk. If you can't find the nest, or it's somewhere you can't safely reach, go to the hardware store or your pharmacy and pick up a small bottle of boric acid. You'll probably find it near the first aid section. Get some apple juice, set your bait can outside where you've seen them flying, and put a stick in it. That's the whole list. Tell me in the comments, where are your wasps nesting this year? Under the eave, in the ground, in the wall? And if you've tried either of these before, I want to hear how it went. I read every one. See you in the next one.